once told me that if I ever stopped getting excited about reviewing normal cars, I should probably quit my job. So I'm pleased to report to you that today's not that day, because I'm actually really excited about this 2024 Nissan Versa. This is a $22,000 car. This specific vehicle next to me is $22,000, but it starts at about $17,000. So we finally have an affordable car that has a lot of good stuff on it. So what I want to do in this video is I'm going to talk about some of that good stuff, and I'm going to show you some of the glitches that I've encountered while testing the vehicle. But for me, none of them are deal breakers, because $22,000. That is exciting. Get excited with me. All right, so my name is Jill Ciminillo, and let's take a closer look at this week's car du jour, Nissan Versa. Now, I just want to start with the overall design and garageability. So this is the SR trim, which is the top tier trim for the Nissan Versa. And it looks really nice. It has some nice finishing touches, from the wheels to the grille to the headlight treatment. I just think this looks really well done. And the fact that this is so garageable is a huge bonus in my book. Living in the city, I share my garage with a neighbor, and they usually park right on the line. And I have to say, this week I never worried about pulling into my garage and having problems getting out of the car while I was driving. So this is very petite and garageable, but it's surprisingly roomy once you go inside. But again, the design itself is just really well done. This is a $22,000 car, and they did not cheap out on it. So you have the body colored hand grips for your door handles. You have the black shiny mirror caps, and they just, and again, the wheels, like everything about this specific vehicle just looks really good. Now, okay, when you get down into the more basic trims, you're not gonna have some of the shiny bits and nice trim pieces, but it's still going to be a very safe and functional and smooth vehicle. So while we're back here, we'll just open up the trunk and take a quick look at the cargo space, because you have a really nice amount of space back here, in addition to split folding rear seats. So you can fit roller boards back here, you can fit a lot of groceries, and I really like the wide opening that you have to be able to fit stuff in. All right, because I didn't give you any luggage, yeah, you're gonna have me for spatial relations this week. So I'm about 5 feet tall, and as you can see, this is a generous amount of space here, and it has a pretty decent and wide opening. So again, I am 5 feet tall, and this is kind of the space that you're looking at here. And you have a really nice bump out here, so that you can fit golf clubs with the driver, as well as, again, roller boards. So, I don't know, I'm pretty pleased with that. And I will point out, if somebody did climb in your trunk, there is a little pull tab here that will emergency release the door. So, yeah, that's good space. Now, moving around the side of the vehicle, it is time to look at the interior. And I will point out, you do have passive entry on this SR trim. You do have to hit this little chiclet to unlock the door. And when you come inside, you will notice some really nice materials in here. So again, this is the top tier SR trim. And yes, this is my driving position. I'm 5 feet tall, don't judge. But when you slide behind the wheel, you'll notice the digital display that it takes up like 2/3 of the cluster. You have the analog gauges, or the analog speedometer, and really nice Nissan logo here. You also will get a really nice graphic animation when you start the vehicle. So hit the start button here, that pops up in that little display. But no annoying beeps there as you turn on the vehicle. And I will say, I really like this digital display. It gives some good information. But yeah, the one thing I will point out is I've only been getting 28 miles per gallon in combined driving. I've driven a total of 170 miles And I should be getting about 35 miles per gallon. I have not been getting that. So that's a little bit of a downer, but I mean, 28 miles per gallon isn't bad. It's just not what the EPA said you would get. All right, so what else do we have going on in here before we kind of pull it out and look at some of the features that I really appreciate? So some really nice cloth seating surfaces with a really attractive design. You have cloth seats in the back with, again, you know, they've kind of repeated the design in the back seat, which I really appreciate. So you've got the red on the side bolsters and the nice pattern on the center of the bolster. You've got cup holders, you've got some really well lit displays. So this is part of the reason why I wanted to stay in my garage, to show you like how well lit things are on the center stack and gear shift area and on the steering wheel. I think they've done a good job lighting things up so it's easy to see even when it's dark outside. So just I think this is just a very, very, very attractive interior. And again, I can't state this enough, this is a $22,000 car. $22,000 car, and you get some leather-ish materials on the dash with some really nice stitching. Yeah, that's nice. All right, we moved out of my garage so I could talk a little bit more about the features, and I have to start with this right here. You have Apple CarPlay on this vehicle. Now, it won't come standard at the base trims, but you do have it on this SR trim, but I will point out it is a wired-in system. And this is one of the little glitchy things that I have to talk about. I've tried to hook up to the system with an aftermarket cord, and finally I had to steal my husband's, you know, Apple cord directly from Apple to be able to get the system to work. So the USB-C port, you have to use a USB-C cord, is just a little bit glitchy, and it did not want to pair with my phone or allow my phone to use Apple CarPlay when I used an aftermarket cord. So you just have to make sure that you're using an actual Apple cord or an Apple approved cord with this vehicle in order for Apple CarPlay to work. But come on, this looks amazing. You know, even though the screen is on the smaller side of things, the icons are really big, so you're not going to have to hunt and peck with big, you know, fumbling fingers. You will be able to hit exactly what you want, and it works really well. So I'm definitely very pleased with the fact that this vehicle has Apple CarPlay. So even though it doesn't come with navigation or maps or anything like that, you can always just wire in your phone and you will be able to use Waze, Apple Maps, Google Maps, whatever your preference is, to be able to get from point A to point B. So here you have a $22,000 car with navigation. That is a huge deal. Now, I am going to point out, and this is, you know, kind of back to the whole glitchiness of the thing. When I was using some other cords, I did have the system connect and reconnect a couple of times. I used Bluetooth audio for a lot of the time, and while you get the nice shiny graphics that show up when you are using podcast information or your music, again, the system would connect and disconnect and reconnect my phone. So it would like pause, cycle through, and then reconnect. So that was also just a little bit glitchy on this vehicle. And I mean, it always reconnected, and it was never more than like 30 seconds that I was dealing with not having connectivity. But I really haven't had the chance to test with the wired-in connection for too long, because I kept trying different cords that never worked. And finally, my husband just this morning gave me his actual Apple cord with the USB-C port, because I tried also to use the USB A cord, which, you know, I have a Apple USB A cord, and that didn't connect to Apple CarPlay. So just be aware, just make sure you're using an Apple approved cord with this system, otherwise it just doesn't work very well. Now, something else I really want to point to that I love on the Nissan Versa is the standard safety features that you get. So you can see this little guy right here behind the wheel, and it's kind of showing you the little safety shield that is surrounding this vehicle. So standard on the Versa, so even at the $17,000 price point, you are going to get things like lane keep assist and automatic reverse braking. Automatic reverse braking. So that's just going to keep you from hitting something as you back up. Now you will have available features like blind spot monitoring. So I don't know if you can see on the mirror over here in this corner right there, you've got the little blind spot monitor alert, and it will just show you if you have somebody in your blind spot when you're trying to change lanes. But you also will get adaptive cruise control, and that is going to be on up-level trim. So on the SR trim, you do have adaptive cruise control, and it works really well at all speeds. I used it at 10 miles per hour, I used it at 70 miles per hour, and this worked really well. Now, the one thing I will note with this system is it will take you all the way to a stop, but if you are stopped for more than like 2 or 3 seconds, the system shuts off, and then you have to put your foot on the brake and re-engage. So once vehicles start moving again. But not a big deal, because this has the full range of speeds from 10 miles per hour all the way up to 70 or 80 miles per hour. I was testing this on a drive out to the suburbs, and it did really well. And it doesn't have the herky-jerky motions that a lot of systems have, and you also have the ability to control your distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. So if you feel comfortable with the system, you can be a little bit closer, but if you want a little more space and a little more time to react yourself, you can create a little more space. So I love all the safety features that are on this vehicle for not so much money, $17,000. I love it. And I will say that if you do get the up-level blind spot alert, you do have rear cross traffic alert as well. So as you would be backing out of space, so you do have this backup camera, and as you are backing out of a space, it would give you an alert if somebody was coming on either side of your vehicle if you couldn't see them. So sometimes you're parking between like 2 vans or something, or big SUVs, because this is a small car. This would give you a little bit of an alert so that you could see somebody coming up behind you. So thumbs up on all of that. So another thing that I want to point out is this is the key fob right here for the Nissan Versa, and look at that right here. And this is, again, SR trim. It's not going to be available on your base trims, but on the SR trim, you are going to have remote start, and it actually works. I used it. So I am on the 2nd floor of an apartment building, and my garage is right behind my, I have to go down 2 flights of stairs and then go outside and get into my garage. But from my back window, I could use this remote start, and it would turn on the vehicle. Now, I will say the remote start doesn't last super long, so you can't turn it on and then leave it on for a half an hour before going out. You do have to go out within 4 or 5 minutes. But remote start that you can use from your key fob at $22,000. I really like that. All right, now it is time to get to my absolute favorite thing about this Nissan Versa, and that is going to be the fact that you get heated seats. Heated seats with this $22,000 car. And yeah, okay, they are cloth seats, but that means they heat up really well, they hold the heat really well, and you're not going to burn your legs on leather. They're really solid seats, and you have them in both the front passenger and driver's position. But I have to say, another thing that I really love about this vehicle is the HVAC system works really, really well. So I'm perpetually cold. If you follow me at all, you know this. And you can look at this. Jack your heat all the way up to 90 degrees. All the way up. When I discovered that, I was so geeked out, and people are like, only you. But yeah, probably only me. But if you are cold like me all the time, yeah, 90 degrees. And it works really well. So I like that. Now, this doesn't have dual automatic climate controls, so you're going to have to get a little bit of an agreement from your front passenger, if you have anybody, that they will also agree to 90 degrees. But yeah, when I'm alone, that makes me very, very happy, and I just crank up the heat, and I can go. So heated seats, 90-degree temperatures in the HVAC system. I mean, this is just a really well-rounded vehicle that has some good things on it. I can't get over it. $22,000. $22,000, people. $22,000. All All right, because I know somebody invariably will ask, I want to talk a little bit about what is going on in the back seat. So let me start with my size. I am about 5 feet tall, and I am the size of an average 10-year-old. Small 10-year-old, but an average 10-year-old. No, not a small 10-year-old, an average 10-year-old. So, and I have really good space back here. I like the way the seat tilts up a little bit, so it gives me some really good thigh support and knee support. I have probably about 4 inches between my knee and the back of the seat. I have another 4 inches between my head and the roof. And, you know, okay, the seats are a little bit firm. I'll be honest, they're not very well padded. But if you're not traveling super long distances, you will be able to fit kids in this back seat. I will point out they also have the latch system, so some car seats and booster seats will be able to be fit in back here. But because of this is in a far back and tilted back position, because of, you know, if you need to fit somebody who's more average or tall in this front seat, you may not be able to fit all car seats back here. So if you are somebody who's looking at this as a young family vehicle, take your car seats with you when you're testing, because you're definitely going to want to put them in here and see if they actually fit. What else is going on back here? You don't have a pull down, so you don't have an armrest or cup holders in this center area here. You do have a USB-C port on the back of the console area. You have bottle holders in the door, so you can put something in the door. And outside of that, I mean, these are kind of plain materials, but it's nothing that feels too icky. But sturdy materials, easy to clean. Again, if you're going to put kids back here, somebody who is like 11 or 12 will probably fit fine. You know, on the more average small side of things, but anybody taller than that, like an average size adult, is not going to be comfortable back here for a long period of time. You can maybe pick up your in-laws and shove them back here to take them to dinner. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, I'm kidding. I like my in-laws. Okay, so yeah, that's what you've got going on back here in the back seat of the Nissan Versa. Now, the last thing I'm going to want to talk about on the 2024 Nissan Versa is going to be the engine. This is a 4-cylinder engine, delivers 122 horsepower, and before you say that is crappy output, I'm going to tell you it actually is really well tuned for a city environment. So, I mean, part of the reason why my fuel economy is so low is because I live in Chicago and there's either a stoplight or a stop sign on every corner. So I do a lot of stop start, stop start, stop start, and this does not have the automatic stop start engine. So what I found is this really delivers smooth, seamless power when you are coming out of a stop. So stop sign here, and then you've got really a nice amount of pep to get out of that stop sign and move forward. I feel like this is really specifically designed for an urban situation. Another stop sign. And I just never felt like I was really lacking power when I was driving around Chicago. It did very, very well. Now, I will say when I hopped on the highway, there's certainly the when you're trying to access the, you know, the highway, when you're trying to merge, when you're trying to pass. There's definitely a little bit of lag there. This is not going to be one of those systems or situations that is no drag races are being won. But like I said, you've got a really nice amount of power when you are coming out of a stop sign or a stoplight. And it doesn't, in an urban situation, to me, feel underpowered at all. This is a small vehicle. It feels appropriately powered for what it is. So I like the engine, and it's not crazy loud. I mean, you're going to hear it. It's a 4-banger. This is an economy class car. But to me, it's not egregious, and it doesn't sound horrible. So I really have appreciated this vehicle this week. And again, I have to tell you, it's kind of exciting. I'm still excited. It's still excited. Going over a whole bunch of speed bumps at the moment, but yeah, welcome to the city. So what else do I want to say about the 2024 Nissan Versa? I like it. I really, really like this vehicle. I think they've done a great job with the interior materials. I love the fact that you have Apple CarPlay, even though it's wired in. Maybe it'll be a little less glitchy than the wireless Bluetooth pairing. And the materials, the design, the fit and finish, it's just really well done. $22,000. This is really well done. This is really well done. So frankly, other than the connectivity issues that I was having and the fact that I wasn't able to get the EPA estimated fuel economy, I like everything else about the 2024 Nissan Versa. If you are looking for an affordable vehicle that has some really good features on it and is going to be safe, standard reverse braking, this is one of those vehicles you should consider. I would have no problems recommending a friend buy this for a teen driver. I would have no problems recommending a friend buy this for themselves. I think this is a great vehicle. Yeah, I think I'm going to end with that. That's about all I have to say about the 2024 Nissan Versa. This is a great vehicle. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with a new car du jour.